Wichita local resources. I want to give you an insight into a lot of different things you can tie into if you're trying to get to know Wichita, whether you're from here or you're not. Before we get into all that, please like, comment, subscribe, share, do all those fun things that help grow the channel, grow the information, the knowledge base of this, and kind of stay up to date on all things Wichita and all things real estate. Specifically more real estate because that's my profession, but also a big part of what I do is letting you know what it's like here. And some of that is for both people moving here, looking to move here, but also the people that currently do live here and may or may not know of everything that we have going on in the city and around the area. And it's not just me putting these things on, promoting it. It's a combined effort of the community, this tribe, this village that puts on a lot of really cool things. So I'm going to get into a few resources and kind of give you a backstory, give you kind of an idea of what they are, what they're like, and what you can kind of expect from some of them. So the first one that I'll promote is Wichita Life ICT by Landon and Candace Husley. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Personal friends of mine. They just celebrated their 6-year anniversary. And what they do primarily is an email newsletter, kind of just letting you know what events are going on around Wichita without any politics, without any drama, just kind of promoting all the things that are going on around the city. From a non-biased, independent journalism type of thing. So when you sign up for their newsletter, it's like 3 times a week, I think. Plus they have on their Instagram, they have a lot of postings around like a lot of live music going on. I think they do those on Thursdays, just to kind of stay in touch and in the know of what's going on. Because I know like I've been born and raised from Wichita and lived here my whole life, contemplated moving away, but stayed here. And one of the complaints, I've seen from other people, and I've kind of fallen in that same attitude sometimes too, is like, there's nothing to do here. We don't have all the things that other big major cities do. And we do have a lot of events and a lot of things going on. They're just not as well known or well marketed, well advertised, because we still are kind of a small town, even though we have a population size of like 600,000. It's still a pretty good sized town, but we still have a pretty small town attitude, small town mindset, small town exposure. Typically stick to like what you know and are familiar with, but these local resources I'm about to share with you, like Wichita Life, do a really good job of spotlighting everything that really is going on in Wichita. So that way you got something to do over the weekend, over the weekdays. You can get out of the house, even though I love selling you a house and I'm glad that you like your house. We do need to get out of it and not spend all of our time there on everything. But anyway, so Wichita Life is one of them with weekly newsletters. I think it's like 3 times a week. And then also if you follow their Instagram and get some exposure there, they do a really good job of promoting all the local events and things going on from a objective but unbiased perspective on just telling you about all the stuff that's going on in and around Wichita on a regular basis, just to keep you up to date. Honestly, I think they kind of do it just to know what's going on too, because I like to pay attention and like go attend these events. I don't always go to all of them, but I'm glad to see they're going on for our city so that we have more things going on around our area. So that's Wichita Life. Another one to tie into is Wichita by EB is the name of it. He's a kind of a food blogger, but he does also some other things just around Wichita, but his primary focus is around food and his experiences. He's definitely edgy. He's definitely got his personality and everything that goes with him. And, I think that's what I and a lot of people appreciate about him, is he's who he is, whether you like it or not. And he's going to be himself and put himself out there. Eddie is his real name, but Wichita by EB is the name of it. He's kind of a food blogger, but also he'll get into just a little bit of anything, everything. Because honestly, I think he's there to entertain you and to, promote Wichita, put everything out there, but he will give you honest reviews of what he thinks or feels about things. But at the end of the day, like, I think what he would say, just like a lot of the other food bloggers I know, like for the foodie, you're like, go try it yourself and have your own personal experience and give things a shot, even if there was a bad experience or a bad situation. And I've seen this from Eddie and some of the others where they go revisit places and they give them another shot, they give them another try, and maybe they made the correction or they made the improvement or that kind of thing. And I think it's fair to have an honest and unbiased review of things. Although I do think, like I do on my Wichita Food and Booze page, like you need to take a lot of the complaints and criticisms to the owner, to the management, not blast them, not negatively try to tear them down. All those, small town, small-minded things that we can sometimes do is like, go talk to them individually about how they can improve, because they do want to hear it. They do care, because these are people's livelihoods on the line, and just trashing their name and their reputation online because you had one bad experience and you're kind of upset, I don't think is the mature way to go on everything. But Wichita by EB, go follow his Instagram, go follow his blog, go check him out. Just Google him, search him, YouTube him. You know, kind of like most marketers and bloggers, tons of resources out there. Fert the Foodie's another one too. He's a good one that does a lot of very food-based things on everything. Live Local is another one by Troy, and he has a really good YouTube page that he puts out a lot of things. Him and Darren Hackney put out a lot of really good content. My Facebook group that I run, Wichita Food and Booze, is a freaking madhouse, to be honest with you. And I kind of just organize that, run that, facilitate it. You know, I'm not putting a lot of my own content in there. I just created a community around people promoting their personal experiences around food and booze around the Wichita area is what we're keeping it tailored to. And you know, it's only promotion, only marketing, only positive reviews. This isn't a place to go tear businesses or people down. There's no negativity allowed in there. You know, people definitely test that, and I think it's one of the largest Facebook groups in Wichita with like 120,000 people in there. But it's definitely entertaining because it can be a madhouse in there. We'll just put it that way. That people like to get riled up. When you get 120,000 people in one area, you know, talking about food and booze, and it's entertaining. We'll put it that way. But that's another good resource just to check out what's going on locally here in Wichita around the Wichita Food and Booze thing. I started it as Wichita Food to Go during COVID, and I ran around interviewing a bunch of the restaurants and business owners about how they're still getting their food out there to go during COVID and staying in business and promoting themselves. And I kind of just created it as a free resource. I don't get paid for any of it. I don't really get any type of compensation for it other than just some people know my name from it. And it's kind of a community service project, honestly, on a marketing standpoint, from just helping the little guy get going. And it's helped me, and not only myself, but a lot of other people, like, come to find out about a lot of places that I think that wouldn't have been known about before, because they're those like little local small mom and pop hole in the wall type of places you wouldn't really know about, or not a lot of people know about, but that's where some of the best food can be, and some of the coolest like local cultural spots that come about our city. So that's a cool one to tie into. Wichita Food and Booze group is on Facebook only. That's it. That's all we do with it. I'm not trying to be a food blogger and all these other things that go with it. I'm just a good marketer, and I want to do that to help grow and promote my city. The other one, Wichita Mom, is another one that's obviously geared more towards mom. It's a weekly newsletter and has a lot of guides, kind of like Wichita Life ICT. The one thing I would kind of warn you on that one is it is a little biased, you know, based on who they want to promote, what they want to promote, and kind of who's paying them. So take some of that into account, that it is a good resource. It has a lot of good information, but it's also kind of like who pays them as a realtor, who pays them as a company to be promoted, or as a school. And so it does have a lot of good resource information, but like anything you read on the internet, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But obviously it's catered more towards the female gender and moms and things to do with kids and all that. And I think it's a really good resource and things that are out there. And it really highlights a lot of things going on in Wichita. Obviously, I'm not a mom and I don't have kids, so I don't really tie into a lot of the things that go on with it. But I do think it's a great resource for people to explore Wichita, get to know Wichita, including like they have trips in there too. And I think they do a really good job of putting out a lot of really quality content around Wichita, around moms, around families, around kids. And, you know, I think that's definitely great, because that's one of the best parts about Wichita, is if that's what you're choosing to do with your life, then that's a lot of good information there for what to do. Although, like my sister is bringing this up, is you got to be kind of careful of the things they promote from a standpoint of, like, if they promote it, now everybody's going to be there. So it's kind of like, man, it got crowded now because you guys promoted it, which is a good thing. What they're doing works. They're doing their job. But if you don't like a lot of people at certain events or at certain things, you might have to take that into account, is that whatever they're promoting, people are going to show up. People are going to go there, because it's a common complaint in Wichita that there's nothing to do here. So when everybody catches wind of something, they all go to it and they all go do it. Which is not as bad as other bigger cities, but you know, we definitely have, I think, a market that is wanting events to do, things to do around the Wichita area. And then beyond that, you know, I'm sure there's ones I'm missing, but those are just some ones that are coming to my top of my mind that I can promote. and let you guys know about to get to know Wichita a little bit more. Obviously, there's the Wichita Eagle, Wichita Business Journals, you know, watching the news, some of those things, but like any of those, they have kind of a skewed perspective, and I think people are getting a little bit tired of those as well, just because of the same concept of how much they're biased, how much they're paid, how much they have an agenda, and some of the things that go with them. And a lot of times we just want to know what's going on, what events are going on, what's the temperature going to be like, without all the skewed perspective. We want a fair objectivism about just tell me what's going on, don't tell me all the other stuff or get biased or influence it. Just give me the raw data, facts of what's going on, what's happening on everything. So hopefully that helps you learn a little bit more about Wichita, what's going on here, and obviously all that affects real estate, housing, what you're trying to do there. But if you want to check out some of the other videos I have around Wichita, what it's like, getting to know Wichita, if you want to move here, you want to move from here on anything, feel free to reach out. You know, I got plenty of resources down below on my content, and I appreciate you watching. As always, if you made it all the way to the end, please like, comment, subscribe, share, pass this along to someone else who could also learn about Wichita, and we'll talk at you and with you later. See ya.